At the start of the story, we see Billy Hope, a star of the boxing world, getting his hands wrapped before a fight. Loud music is playing through the speakers to get him pumped up before he steps into the ring. As soon as Billy puts on his gloves, his wife Maureen walks in. She gently tells him to be careful because in every fight, he gives everything he has and pushes himself way too far. In the ring, Billy starts off slowly and keeps taking his opponent's punches. Meanwhile, Maureen watches the fight with a worried look on her face. Billy's entire fighting style has always been based on anger. He first takes a beating, and once he gets angry, he comes back like a storm. When the fight reaches the 10th round without any clear result, the commentators start saying that Billy's unbeaten record might finally come to an end today. As soon as the next bell rings, Billy's eyes fall on Maureen. Seeing the fear on his wife's face makes the anger inside him explode. He suddenly starts throwing a brutal series of punches until his opponent loses his balance and falls to the ground. The crowd fills the entire hall with cheers and applause, while the commentators once again say that nobody can beat Billy. With his face covered in blood, Billy raises the championship belt and pulls Maureen beside him so everyone can see how much he loves his wife. But despite the victory, his body is telling a completely different story. One of his eyes is swollen almost shut, and blood is still coming from his mouth. Seeing this makes Maureen even more worried. But Billy simply brushes off her concerns and heads to the press conference. During the press conference, a young and aggressive boxer named Miguel shows up. He starts taunting Billy, saying that his unbeaten record is fake. According to him, Billy only fights useless boxers. He challenges Billy to step into the ring with him if he really has the courage. Billy controls his anger and simply says, "Son, become a champion first, because I only fight champions, not random guys." Later, Billy vents his frustration in front of his manager Jordan and tells him to set up a fight with Miguel, but Jordan clearly refuses. He tells Billy that he should fight bigger boxers, the ones who actually have a name in the sport. Billy gets so angry that he flips the table in front of him, but the very next moment, he feels ashamed of what he has done and apologizes. After that, Billy goes home and sits with Maureen and their daughter Layla. The little girl starts counting every single injury on her father's face. She lovingly tells him that she also wants to watch his fights, but she doesn't like it when someone hits him. Just like her mother, Layla is deeply worried about her father. That night, Maureen takes Billy aside and tells him with a heavy heart, "How long is this going to continue? Your body is breaking down from the inside. Why don't you attack first? I'm scared that one day you'll die in one of these fights." Billy says that nobody has been able to beat him so far, but deep down, he knows that his wife is saying all this because she loves him. Maureen tells him that everyone around him is living off his money, but they are all fake. Deep down, they are just waiting for him to lose. Billy promises her that he will never lose. After that, the two share some loving moments together. The next morning, Layla is playing on a trampoline while Maureen relaxes in the sunlight. Just then, Jordan arrives and brings up a new contract. Maureen gets angry and scolds him, asking if money is the only thing he cares about and whether he has any concern for Billy's health. She directly refuses the deal. Meanwhile, Billy gets up and starts giving away his expensive watches to some of his friends. In a way, he is celebrating his victory. When he comes outside and hears about the contract, instead of getting involved, he simply says that whatever Maureen decides will happen. That evening, the whole family gets ready for a charity event at a club. Billy is a little nervous because he feels very uncomfortable speaking in front of so many people. When it is finally his turn to speak, Billy puts his prepared pages aside and starts talking straight from his heart. He honestly says that giving a speech in front of all these people is harder for him than taking punches. He then says that both he and Maureen were orphans. If people like them had not shared their money with people like him, he would not be standing where he is today. He also thanks Maureen and says that without her, he could never have made it this far. His honesty touches everyone's heart. Even Miguel quietly watches him with a look of respect. As Billy and Maureen are leaving the event, they come across Miguel again. Miguel starts provoking Billy, saying that he only follows his wife's orders. He asks if Maureen is the one who decides who Billy will fight and who he will not. Maureen tries to control Billy's anger, but this time, Billy does not stop. He steps forward and punches Miguel, and within seconds, people from both sides start fighting each other. In the middle of the fight, a gun suddenly goes off, and the bullet hits Maureen directly. Miguel is shocked because the shot was fired by his own brother, Hector. In panic, Miguel picks up the gun and hides it before immediately leaving with Hector. Billy sits on the ground holding his wife in his arms, but her breathing slowly fades away, and Maureen dies in his arms. By morning, Billy is completely broken. The police officers are talking somewhere in the background, but he cannot hear a single word. He simply sits in one place and cries. The police tell him that the weapon used in the shooting was an illegal, unregistered gun. They hand him a card and tell him to call if he remembers anything. But after losing his wife, none of this matters to Billy anymore. After grieving for some time, Billy picks up his gun, loads it with bullets, and goes out looking for Miguel and Hector because he wants revenge. Outside, he finds his loyal friend John waiting for him. Guilt is clearly visible on John's face, and he apologizes for not being able to save Maureen. But Billy is blinded by anger and points his gun at him. John keeps crying and apologizing. Somehow, Billy manages to control his anger and tells him to leave. He says that he will handle whatever needs to be done himself. After that, Billy goes straight to Hector's apartment. But instead of Hector, he finds Hector's drunk wife inside. Billy tells her that he has come to give her some money so she will open the door, and then he immediately points his gun at her. However, the moment he sees the children inside the room, his anger melts away. He lowers his weapon and walks out. Several months pass and Billy's money starts running out. His accountant tells him that the huge legal fees from the gun case and the rising property taxes have eaten up most of his money. But instead of understanding the truth, Billy accuses him of stealing. Jordan steps in and somehow gets the accountant out of the situation. He immediately brings up the same new contract and tells Billy to sign the deal. He says that once Billy signs it, all his problems will disappear. Billy keeps remembering Maureen telling him not to sign that contract. That is why he hesitates to put his signature on it. But Jordan hits him where it hurts and asks, "Are you going to let your daughter end up on the streets?" Those words get to Billy, and for Layla's sake, he finally signs the contract. However, on the night of the fight, there is nothing left inside Billy. The anger that had always given him strength is now slowly dragging him down. He gets badly beaten in every round, while his eyes keep returning to Maureen's empty seat. Exhausted and defeated, Billy lowers his hands for a moment, leaving his face completely open as a target. The entire hall falls silent. Even the opposing boxer is shocked when he sees Billy in this condition. The referee steps in and tries to stop the fight, but Billy suddenly snaps and headbutts the referee in the face, breaking his nose. Everyone is shocked to see how much this man has changed. Later, Billy sits alone in the locker room and calls out to his team, but nobody comes because they have already abandoned him. The next day, Jordan comes and tells him that he has been banned from several matches for attacking the referee. On top of that, his contract has also been terminated. Billy then learns that even his own trainer has gone over to Miguel's side and will now train him. This proves that everything Maureen had warned him about was true. The people around him could not be trusted. Jordan even sends 2 men with Billy to escort him outside so that he does not destroy anything on his way out. Billy quietly heads toward his home. But as soon as he reaches the gate, the memory of Maureen's death flashes before his eyes. Suddenly, he speeds up the car and crashes it straight into a tree. Hearing the loud crash, Layla comes running downstairs and finds her father lying on the ground, covered in blood. Even while half-conscious, Billy keeps apologizing to her. Meanwhile, the little girl somehow manages to call an ambulance with a trembling voice. When Billy wakes up in the hospital, the officers tell him that Layla has been placed under child services for her own safety. After Billy's careless behavior, the court had no other choice. A few days later, inside the courtroom, Billy reaches out his hand toward his daughter as she walks in, but the guards stop him. The judge understands Billy's pain, but still rules that Layla will remain under government care for the time being. To get custody of his daughter back, Billy must first go through counseling and learn to control his anger. Feeling helpless, Billy insults the judge and moves forward to hug his daughter, but the guards grab hold of him. Meanwhile, Layla keeps crying and reaching her hands toward her father. The very thing Maureen had feared has now happened. Billy's house and everything he owned are taken away because of his debts, leaving him with nothing except his memories. During his last walk through the empty rooms, he keeps remembering the life he once had. The next morning, only his friend John is standing beside him. John takes Billy toward the city and spends the whole journey apologizing for everything that happened in the past. He even tries to return the expensive watch Billy had once given him, but Billy refuses to take it back and quietly gets out of the car. As he walks around, Billy eventually reaches an old gym and sits in one corner so nobody will notice him. Inside, we see an old boxer named Tick Wills, who has now become a trainer and is putting the young fighters through hard training. After some time, Tick notices Billy sitting in the corner. During their conversation, Billy tells him that he needs a trainer and a job. Otherwise, he will never be able to get his daughter back. Tick shakes his head and says that he does not train professionals anymore. Billy replies that this is actually good because he is not a professional anymore either. He also tells Tick that he respects him a lot because one of the fighters Tick trained once made it all the way to the final round against Billy. Billy says, "Sir, whatever you tell me, I will do it. I will follow every single rule." Tick tells him that if he really means it, he should start by cleaning the gym. But this hurts Billy's ego, so he walks away. A man who once lived like a king is now reduced to living in a small, empty apartment. The next day, Billy goes to the child services office where he meets a social worker named Angela. Angela directly asks him where he is living and what kind of work he is doing these days. Billy lies and says that he is working at Tick's gym. He then begs Angela to let him meet his daughter. After a lot of pleading, Angela finally agrees. But the meeting gives Billy no comfort at all. Layla sits in front of him with a cold expression and keeps her distance. She looks directly into her father's eyes and tells him that he is the one who ruined everything. Before Billy can even respond, Layla calls Angela and gets up to leave. This breaks her father even more. Completely shattered, Billy returns to Tick's gym and accepts the cleaning job. The work may be small, but at least it is a beginning because for the first time, Billy accepts that he has to build his life again from zero. While sweeping the floor and cleaning the equipment, Billy becomes friends with a boy named Hoppy who comes to the gym. Hoppy also dreams of becoming a great boxer one day. A few days later, Billy goes back to the child services office, but he is told that Layla still does not want to meet him. Angela gently explains that he needs to give the girl some time. In a very short period, she has lost both her mother and her father. Carrying the pain of being rejected by his own daughter, Billy goes to a bar. There, Tick is sitting and watching one of Miguel's fights live. Seeing how restless Billy is, Tick directly asks him what his plan is from here. Billy says that he will fight again and bring his daughter back home. Tick then asks him directly, "When are you going to be ready to change?" Billy does not understand the depth of those words and angrily walks out. But now, even Billy is tired of fighting against this truth. After some time, he comes back and apologizes. He admits that he has no plan anymore. He says that for all these years, Maureen was the one who kept him together. Now that she is gone, even his own daughter does not want to meet him. Tick quietly listens to everything. Then he reminds Billy that he is not the only one who is hurting. That little girl has lost her mother too. Tick tells him that instead of thinking only about his own pain, Billy needs to start looking at everything from his daughter's perspective as well. From that day onward, the two start growing closer. Billy comes to the gym every day and follows every method Tick teaches him. The old trainer, who is famous for his defensive techniques, starts training Billy. For the first time, Billy does not act stubbornly or believe that he already knows everything. He patiently accepts that he has a lot to learn and starts following Tick's instructions. Slowly, changes begin to appear in Billy's life outside the ring as well. After several failed attempts, Layla finally agrees to meet him again. She even asks Billy for help with her schoolwork. But the real reason is not the homework. She simply wants to see whether her father is actually trying to change or not. And this time, Billy listens carefully to every single thing she says with love and patience. 30 days later, the court sees Billy's progress, and the judge even praises his efforts. But the judge still decides that Layla will remain under care for a little longer, because Billy needs more time to become fully stable and stand on his own feet. Despite his disappointment, Billy quietly accepts the decision. That night, Billy meets Tick at the same bar again. During their conversation, Billy jokes about Tick's cloudy eye and says that the world must look different to him, with sunlight on one side and darkness on the other. Tick then tells him the truth. "Years ago, there was a boy I used to fight. I always beat him. But one day, one of his punches destroyed my eye. And that was where my entire career ended. One moment of carelessness took everything away from me. But that mistake also taught me the biggest lesson of my life. In a fight, protecting yourself is the most important thing." The next day, Tick hears about a charity fight where no license is required to compete. For Billy, this is a great chance to prove himself again. But Billy's attention is focused on Hoppy, the boy who has now become a good friend of his. After hearing about the boy's difficult home situation, Billy becomes worried. Tick assures him that he will take care of Hoppy and tells Billy to focus only on his own fight. Later, Billy happily shares the news with Layla, and the little girl's face lights up. But as soon as she says, "Dad, I will come to watch you too," Billy refuses. Layla's happiness immediately turns into anger. She slaps her father and, while crying, tells him, "You should have died instead of Mom." Hearing those words feels like countless needles piercing Billy's chest. Still, he swallows his pain and keeps it inside. In the charity fight, Billy fights exactly the way Tick taught him. Instead of blindly rushing at his opponent, he stays calm, focuses on defense, and keeps control of the entire pace of the match. In the 7th round, as soon as Tick gives him the signal, Billy changes his approach. He unleashes a rapid series of punches and knocks his opponent to the ground. Jordan comes forward after the fight. He is now Miguel's manager, and he offers Billy the fight that the whole world has been waiting for. He also promises that he will get Billy's ban removed. Burning with the desire for revenge, Billy immediately says yes. But Tick still does not feel good about it because he cannot understand how Billy can possibly be fully prepared in only 6 weeks. The entire event feels like a setup to him. Billy begs him, saying that even if he loses, he just wants Tick to stand by him. This is the only way he has left to get Layla back. But Tick immediately realizes that Billy is still chasing revenge, so he clearly refuses to be part of it. That same night, Billy sees Tick angrily punching the heavy bag. There is deep sadness on his face. In a heavy voice, Tick tells Billy that Hoppy was killed while trying to save his mother. His own father shot him. Blaming himself for everything that happened, Tick completely breaks down. The tragedy shakes both of them deeply. From that moment, Tick takes full responsibility for Billy's training because he knows Billy is never going to back away from the fight. So now Tick wants to prepare him as well as he possibly can. As time passes, Billy slowly becomes stronger and more powerful. At the same time, the court allows Layla to live with him in his new apartment. Even so, the distance between father and daughter does not completely disappear because Layla is still upset that Billy does not want her to watch the fight. Billy lovingly explains to her that he wants to keep her away from violence because her mother wanted the same thing. Layla quietly listens to him, holds his hand, and reminds him that her mother is no longer between them. Now, they both have to make their own decisions. That same day, they visit Maureen's grave. There, Billy honestly tells Layla that he is going to fight the man whose name is connected to her mother's death. He also tells her that if she really wants to watch the fight, she can come. He will not stop her. Just like her mother, Layla also has a lioness's courage inside her. She does not simply want to watch the fight. She wants to stand beside her father and give him strength. Finally, the night of the fight arrives and the entire stadium is packed with thousands of people. Angela takes Layla into a separate room inside the stadium where they can comfortably watch the fight on television. Billy quietly enters the ring with Tick and his team without any big celebration. Meanwhile, Miguel makes a grand entrance full of energy. As soon as the bell rings, Billy follows the technique Tick taught him, but Miguel immediately starts throwing powerful punches and shakes Billy's face. One of Billy's eyes becomes badly swollen. Even then, Tick tells him to stick to the plan. Meanwhile, the commentators make fun of Billy's calm approach and start questioning whether he even has any strength left. In the middle of the fight, one of Miguel's powerful punches knocks Billy to the ground. Tick and Layla both hold their breath, but before the count is completed, Billy gets back up. After the doctor checks him, he is allowed to continue fighting. By now, however, his eye is badly swollen. Billy draws strength from the pain and starts using the counterpunching game Tick taught him. Slowly, Miguel's flow begins to break. With every round, Billy's defense becomes stronger. His counterpunches become faster and sharper. Miguel slowly starts losing control. Now they are getting very close to the final round, and Miguel tries to provoke Billy by mentioning Maureen. Billy's anger boils over for a moment, but Tick gently stops him and reminds him that both his wife and daughter are watching him right now, so he tells Billy to control his anger. In the final round, Billy does not let himself get distracted. Several of Miguel's punches miss, and Miguel leaves his defense open. Right in front of Layla's shining eyes, Billy lands a powerful uppercut that sends Miguel straight to the ground. The audience goes wild with excitement. The referee starts counting, but Miguel somehow manages to get back on his feet before the bell rings. Now all the rounds are over, so the fight goes to the judges' scorecards, and according to the points, Billy is declared the new champion. The entire stadium erupts in celebration. Layla, Tick, John, and the whole crowd celebrate his victory. Even the commentators who were making fun of him earlier now say that nobody can beat Billy even today. After the fight, Billy takes off his championship belt and hands it to Tick because he was the man who helped him stand back up after everything he had lost. Just then, Layla comes running inside and throws her arms around her father. With tears in his eyes, Billy tells her, "Wherever your mother is, she must be happy seeing us today." So, how did you like this beautiful story? Be sure to tell us in the comments. See you in the next video.